Welcome back into Two Balls and a Mic. We have a very special interview today. The most decorated person to ever grace the Two Balls and a Mic studio, virtual studio. You know her, you love her. World Cup, Olympic gold medalist, fantastic teammate in foot golf, your teammate in the San Diego Sockers. I won't get into our history, but it's okay. Please welcome the one and only Shannon McMillan. Shannon, thank you for your time today.
How we doing?
Good. Just winding down a midweek because it's barely the middle of the week. Sometimes it feels like that, especially in San Diego with this dry weather, cold, frigid in the mornings, and absolutely scorching in the afternoons. You know what it's all about, Shannon. You've been here for a great part of your life. So welcome. Thank you again for your time.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
And, you know, we'll get right into it, right? You know, Shannon, you've been involved with local soccer. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, more than probably anybody in modern San Diego soccer, all the way in playing with at Torero Stadium with the San Diego Spirit. As a player, you've come up locally through Escondido, and, you know, just the story that you have and you're interwoven with the story of San Diego and soccer. San Diego Loyal being a part of your history in that way. And obviously we all saw what happened a couple weeks ago. Where are you with that, processing it? That's what soccer gives you, right?
Yeah. Like you said, I grew up in San Diego, and if not for soccer, I don't know that I would have been able to receive the education that I did, let alone be fortunate enough to play on the national team for 12 years and play in and be successful at every level. So eternally grateful for all that soccer's done for me. So it's really important for me to continue to give back to the game, especially in my hometown. Being a part of Loyal it's really hard to put into words what the 4 years have been and what they meant. It hit another level for me with my 14-year-old son and how this has resonated with him, because he's essentially just spent 4 incredibly formative years with him, with these guys who have been role models and big brothers to him. And I couldn't ask for better people for him to be around. And so to see how hard he's taken it has just kind of put that up another level. So I think we're still cycling through the stages of grief, the anger with it all, the just heartbroken, and but I'm also incredibly fortunate enough to be able to slide over to the Wave and work with Jill Ellis and that group, and continue to have a platform to build on what we've started with Loyal, continue to build on what Wave have already done in the community. How do we meld that together and just continue to just take it up each year to another level and really be supportive to all of our community partners, continue to inspire that next generation, because I'm telling you, I grew up dreaming of just following my brother around, not necessarily having a pro team that I could watch and say, I'm going to play professionally in my hometown one day. I was blessed enough to do that with the San Diego Spirit, as you touched on. Mm-hmm. But for these young kids, these young girls to go out there and see the likes of Naomi Girma, Alex Morgan, all these incredible players, and say, hey, I can do that. If you can see it, you can do it.
Yeah, and I mean, like you touched on it, right? It's still the stages of grieving, but how was that conversation, right, with your son, where you found out that Loyal's folding and you had to not just take it in yourself, you had to explain that to him as well. What was that conversation like? I mean, how emotional was it as well?
Yeah, it's never been a secret. I think my son, he's an old soul, and he thinks deeper than I think most 14-year-old boys do. So we've really been, his whole life just really open and honest with him and having conversations about anything and everything. So just really explained to him, some of the reasoning behind it, that it's out of our control, but also the fact that, he's new to Instagram and has friended all the players. Nice. So it's exciting for him. We fortunately got to have a sort of a season league wrap up party with the players and all of the office and families, and for him to go around and get his jersey signed and just say his goodbyes to the guys, and hearing where they're all going, and now will be their biggest fans from here. He's still got his Coque Vegas picture hanging in his room. He's got a signed jersey from him, and just, it's a lot for him to process. But I think he's coming along all right. And I think the fact that, sliding over to the Wave and having the opportunity to be involved there, it's important, just as important for him to have these male role models, but to also see these incredibly strong kick-ass, I don't know if I can say that.
100%, let it fly.
Yeah, those kick-ass women, and say, that's how it should be, and to celebrate and support that. So I'm excited for his next journey in the game. And, although he doesn't want to play, he's an Uber fan. He loves yelling at the refs. And I know he will fall in love very quickly with the Wave as well.
Absolutely. And to be honest, Shannon, we've had a front row seat to seeing your work with Loyal, hearing the stories of you yourself, as well as Ricardo and everybody else, literally being the ones to paint the office and get down to it. And the amount of effort and love that went into this project is reflected also in the relationship that you would see with your son. And I caught glimpses of you and him just kind of losing yourselves when 109 went down, and that final match as well, just kind of taking everything in. And I can say that confidently there is a very powerful female role model in his mom. So that's something that cannot be understated. And shout out to yourself for that. And look, soccer is the great equalizer in a sense, right? And you've been involved in some of the greatest storylines of soccer in this nation, and to take it down and being able to elevate that in your hometown has to feel special. There was, during your time in San Diego Loyal, some kind of questions around like, oh, yeah, she's working for Loyal and doing play-by-play and sharing a booth with Jack Cronin, but there's this relationship with Angel City, and people were a little bit confused by that. Is there any way you can kind of expand on that and kind of how that developed and how you're now able to jump over and be an asset for San Diego Wave?
Yeah, and I think when that all came about was Angel City started a couple years before Wave was even, San Diego was even in the picture. And at that point, Julie Ehrman, one of the founders and president for Angel City, had reached out to Foudy and Mia and just said, hey, we want you guys to come in and be a part of it. And those two, being the consummate teammates, are like, do you realize how many former national teamers are in Southern California from LA down to the border? And Julie said, well, ask them. And Foudy sent an email out, hey, biatches, there's this opportunity. Who's involved? And it was fun to see the immediate responses from yeah, holy blah, 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 we're all in. And then obviously, after that got up and running, Wave, which was supposed to initially be in Sacramento, they got the rights, Burkle got the rights to bring it down here. So it's been tough because this is my hometown, but, to be a part of something like Angel City from the get-go, and going up there for all the games and stuff. But now, as we started to find out about Loyal and it coming to an end, I just connected with Jill and, all credit to her. She's like, absolutely, let's talk. Let's see how we can, collaborate, work together. And very fortunate for her to say, hey, just come over and do the same thing and build on what we've done here, bring connections you have. Also thankful to Julie Ehrman up at her Angel City, who, has said, as long as I'm not on the team side and in the day-to-day with that stuff, there's not really a conflict. So I'm able to, slide over and take on the role with the Wave. And, this week is my first official week there full time. And it's just been, kind of dipping my toe in, getting a feel for what they've done. And we'll debrief after season, obviously stepping in at semifinals around the corner and final hosting, regardless of what happens in the semis, and then just figure out where we can build on. Yeah, so, good problem to have and incredibly thankful.
What a moment too. Yeah, big game, big moment. Shannon McMillan coming in the semifinals. You know what? My first full week. Oh yeah. Bring it on.
And Shannon, you have built you had a big impact in the community, right? We've seen you at YMCA events when you were with San Diego Loyal, but what do you hope to build in the community that you started already now that you're at Wave?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think, I'd be remiss if I don't say I had a great team around me, from Russ Thompson handling a lot of our military
Absolutely. Shout
outreach,
out
basically
Russ.
all of our military outreach, to Kyla Coogan, who was essential in everything we did in the community. And thankfully Kyla has been able to have a role over at Wave now.
Yes.
She started
Congratulations. We heard
this
that.
week as well. So yeah, we've got partnerships with Humble Design, Armed Services YMCA, the YMCA, Junior Achievement. We've done a lot of stuff with Rady Children's, Ronald McDonald House. So all those partnerships, which Wave already have some of those established. So, it's just, how can we make this bigger and better? What more can we do? Really focusing on the quality of our partnerships, and making sure that we're over delivering versus kind of being spread out and saying yes to everything. We want to be impactful.
And it's in your nature to be competitive. We hear it even now. Like, come on
seen
down.
it.
Like,
We've
we've seen it
seen it.
firsthand.
Yes.
And even with Twitter, right? Like, you jumped on, and I don't know if you want to tell the story with Ricardo Campos and him just being shocked that you don't have a whole team running your social
Yes.
media.
Yeah, well, I am very sensitive, probably just as sensitive as I am competitive. And Ricardo kept nudging me, why don't you have Twitter? And I'm like, because I don't want to be just skewered out there. I'd be too sensitive if a troll latched on or something like that. So one of the days he's like, hey, you need to do it. So Danny Miller, who was with Loyal at the time, set me up and went off and running. And probably 2 weeks in, Ricardo came by my office and he's like, who's running your Twitter account? I said, what do you mean? He goes, who's running your Twitter account? And I said, I am. And he's like, what? No way. You're not seriously, who's running your, and I don't know if should have been offended or complimented at that point, but I said, I'm running my own Twitter account. I go, is that good or bad? He's like, no, you're actually really doing well. And I'm like, well, hello, have you met me? I like to think I have a handle on some things type thing. But it was just funny that he thought either my son or I was paying someone to run my Twitter account.
Well, you heard it here first. Whenever you get a strong reply from Shannon's account, it's Shannon. So make sure to come correct. Come correct.
Yeah, I jumped in right when the blue check mark went away, but it is me.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and follow her, because again, great information in there, and competitive as well. Like, is this kind of how you're getting that competitive itch out of you, being part of the community? Is this are you involved maybe even in playing soccer still? Is there a ringer league that you're a part of, or is this just working with Through Wave, just kind of scratching your competitive itch in the soccer world?
Yeah, that's definitely the way I'm getting that competitiveness out. I think my son brings it out every now and then. I think I have the fortune of being able to tone it down around friends. Very hard to play board games with my son and lose to him. Or he's on this mission now to prove who's the strongest of the house, so he likes to come out of the blue and try to tackle me. But yeah, I want to be the best still, the best mom, the best community relations I can. Everything I do, I want to. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. I believe firmly in leading by example as well. So this isn't like, hey, let's go do this, organize this. I want to be out there in the community, rolling up my sleeves, putting the time in as well, making the connections, especially when it comes to kids and being around Ronald McDonald House or Humble Design, helping a family transition out of homelessness and watching these kids come home to sometimes their first bedroom, in their own bed, and just seeing the impact that can have, and giving these kids a chance and a pathway. And thankful to be able to do it through a club like the Wave now, and Loyal very recently, and show that there is a legit pathway. And if you make good decisions, surround yourself with the right people, and put your heart and soul into what you find that you're passionate about, all things are possible.
Absolutely.
And I'm just curious, right now you're starting your role with Wave, but do you talk to any other players, or will you be talking to anybody? Obviously, you're a respected player as well, so I'm just curious, do any of them come up to you? It's like, wow, I used to watch you play. I admire you so much. Anything like that?
I've seen people shove Landon Donovan to the side just to go talk to Shannon.
Oh, for sure.
And like, Shannon, what am I
didn't
doing
win
here?
a World Cup.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Here's a funny story for you. When Corey Herzog first came to San Diego, I remember going down to training and introducing myself, and he came over and he's like, oh my gosh, we got to get a picture. Please, can we get a picture? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so, he pulls out his phone and he does a picture. He's like, my mom is going to die and love this. And I was like, Oh man, I am old.
No, that's awesome. And is that something that, you know, to your question, back to your question, do the players approach you? Is that something that you do get approached by, as far as like, hey, like, I watched you win the World Cup. I watched you win. You know, you were an inspiration, and now you have some of these players firsthand with San Diego Wave. Does that happen, and how does that feel?
Yeah, and in fairness, I haven't been around the team much yet. I'm sure I will be, probably more so next season, as we really get our community programming up to speed. And hope to, help them and realize that giving back to the game now, it's never too early. And that's one of the things with Loyal too. We had Joe Corona and Guido, who were two of the one gentlemen that, like, they couldn't get enough, and they were coming to myself and Kyla like, we want to volunteer, we want to do this, but we don't want it on social, we want to just do it because I remember someone coming to one of my practices and inspiring me. And that's where I hope to, outside of the stuff that you guys will all see that we'll be doing, help those players, try to make those connections in their community and help give back right away. And, always there to share any of my old lady advice and experience as needed, for sure.
And to be honest, like, we see it firsthand, Shannon. As you were talking about San Diego Loyal and the community work that they did. We work in the Y. It's not a secret anymore. But we've seen firsthand how that has impacted the kids in the community in such a huge way. And you mentioned too, Junior Achievement, right? Like, that program is something that is unique to San Diego and is an incredible program. And seeing those programs really open the eyes to kids who, and honestly, don't even speak English at times, but they recognize, oh, football, soccer, like, okay, this is, I want to work at that booth. I want to go ahead and do that. Let me work and at least find the words ticket, boleto, like, and we'll help them out. It's something that's incredibly important. And it's great to have somebody with your passion being able to spearhead that. And I guess, and it's, Wave, the resources are bigger. I think it's a little, I don't think that's a secret either, but I'm waiting to see and ready to see just the community really be embraced by the team. And that's something that we've been critical of at times, is that we would love to see a little bit more, and because you can compare it to what Loyal was doing. And so that marriage and amalgam now is going to be really cool to see. What are some challenges that you've seen with community work? Is there too much of a need that sometimes it's overwhelming, or what are the challenges with really linking up with organizations and really getting out there and help?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think it's, if anything, it's just exhausting of just how much need there still is. Humble Design, they do 2 homes a week, helping
Incredible.
a family transition out of home. 2 homes a week, that's crazy. We go volunteer once a quarter with them, and it's like, to think that they're doing 2 homes a week, and that doesn't even scratch the surface of homelessness out there. And so I think it's in a sense, it's job security, because there is so much we can do. And especially for those kids, like you touched on, Junior Achievement. Like, I'm a big proponent of sports, because whether you play at a national team level, you just play recreational or competitive, whatever it is, like, you're extracting life skills, the teamwork, overcoming adversity, being a leader, having confidence in yourself. And you look at places like Junior Achievement and the YMCA, and they're teaching life skills. My son went through BizTown as a 5th grader, and that's still the highlight for his young years of education. He's a 9th grader now. And the moment Loyal signed on with Junior Achievement, my son went, wow, Loyal's legit. And now Wave will be taking over that space. Yeah, he was like, all right, you guys are BizTown, you're good. And so now Wave will pick up that baton and help carry that, because the kids that go through there, and just seeing them having this full day of real life, and it's not just that day, they interview within their classroom. So they're getting skills like that. They have to pick which job and why are they good for it, and go through all that. So any way we can teach, whether it's on the field or in a setting like BizTown, or leadership stuff with players, just giving these kids an opportunity and life lessons that will help them succeed well beyond any sports field there is.
Absolutely. Tony, we're all about, just working with the youth and making an impact as well. But there's other events going on, right? And you're going to have a big event on November 5th called
Something else is happening November 5th, but this is important.
This is important. Fill the
This
truck.
is more important.
Yeah. Talk to us, Shannon. Tell us about this event.
Yeah, so when the holidays roll around, a lot of our community partners start having drives to help benefit their clients and the community, whether it's food or toys or blankets. So we're trying to be a bit proactive, knowing that, once we get through the championship game on the 11th, the club will go a bit quiet over the holidays. So how can we be prepared to help our community partners, such as Armed Services YMCA, Chicano Federation, Humble Design? How can we be prepared to help them in these drives? Because these organizations day in and day out are of such support and help for our community, and around the holidays it's even harder. So we're going to do a fill the truck, bring a new toy or a new blanket. You get an opportunity to win 2 tickets to the championship game, as well as a signed Wave FC jersey signed by the whole team.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
The more you bring, the more chances you get. You bring 1 blanket, you're going to get a entry. If you bring 10 blankets, you're going to get 10 entries in to win. And just I would love to think our community, beyond what we're incentivizing it with, want to help and be of support before we all sort of get into our holiday plans. And those of us that are blessed to not have to rely on organizations like Chicano Fed and Humble Design and ASYMCA and everyone else out there can, take a moment to give and be of support to these amazing organizations that do it day in and day out. We should be doing it year round, not just at the holidays.
I love that spirit. Yeah, it should be a year-round thing, and the need isn't only around the holidays, but it is a time to really look inwards and be able to give outwards, and it's a fantastic start. Is this something that you're organizing first type of big event?
Yeah, this is one of my first things, and
Excellent.
I got to give a shout out to Avermont Trucking, because our partnerships reached out to them, and we were thinking like a smaller truck, and they said, no, we want to go big. We're bringing a 53-foot truck.
Beautiful.
And not only that, they're going to kick off the drive and have stuff in there waiting for us already to be of support. So we're super thankful to them. It's going to be a very big truck, so I need everybody bringing blankets and toys so it looks good, and know that it will go a long way to making holidays a bit easier on some families.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely take our share of toys and blankets as well.
100%. It's super important. Get out there, Sirens. Locals, you're still a group, guys, gentlemen, ladies. Still,
they're gonna be there. They said
chavos.
they're gonna be there.
They said they're gonna be there. So let's also be there for one of your own, Shannon Mack. It's a fantastic thing and a great start. But I mean, if we want to just briefly touch before we let you go, obviously November 5th, right? An exciting thing. You yourself are the biggest expert in women's soccer that we have talked to, and probably in San Diego, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just stamp it
You guys
like
haven't
that.
gotten out much, huh?
But I mean, what do you think of this upcoming matchup that we have here at Snapdragon, November 5th? What's touted as potentially Megan Rapinoe's final game. Obviously, you have some skin in the game, working for Wave now, but just as a neutral, putting yourself a step behind, what does this look like to you?
Yeah, I think, the beauty of it is playoff soccer, man. Anything can happen. And soccer is such a crazy game. I think we saw that in Loyal's last game, a goal, couple minutes left against the run of play, and it just sucks the air out of you. It's why we love this crazy game. It drives us mad. We love it with everything we've got. Megan would love nothing more than continue on, probably stay in town for the week for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think Wave have had a decent break, which will allow anyone that's had anything nagging to get healthy. I've got the complete confidence in Casey Stoney that she's going to keep them ready. So, it could be a blessing or a curse to have that much time off, versus having another game mixed in there. But Casey's a consummate professional, and I think she's going to have them ready and dialed in. And I mean, you can't write a better script to come in as the top seed. You host the semifinal, and less than a week later, you're hosting the championship game. So, we want to sell out Snap. I think we're close to it. There are a handful of tickets left. So if you don't have them, you better move quick. But, bring that energy of the home crowd, throw in the Sirens and Locals who are both meeting up in that end zone, and let's just help those girls be that 12th player. But, you couldn't write a better script than to have it in your backyard and, it's tough when you win the Shield. People say, oh, it's never been done, but that's long in the rearview mirror for these guys, these players. They're ready to go.
Absolutely. And to even take a further step back, Shannon, to see what the game has grown into. You've obviously played and you've had your trials and tribulations on and off the field. Just the sport, women's soccer globally is at a different level, and it's growing at an exponential rate. Here you get to a front row to what's happening. You have Alex Morgan. You have Naomi Girma coming up. The youth, Jaden Shaw, who's tearing it apart. International superstars. Yeah, Jakobsson. You have Van Egmond. I mean, incredible players, and the level of play is at a place where it hasn't been before. Does it make everything worth it? All the sacrifice that you guys made?
Absolutely. And I'm still working, obviously, because I have to, but to think, as far as the games come, there's still plenty of work to be done. But, you used to have to wait for a World Cup every 4 years to figure out who the next new household name was going to be. But now you have the opportunity to have these role models and superstars in your backyard. And then you're going to see them out in the community, whether it's doing some volunteer work or, doing a camp or a clinic. So it's incredible to see. It's amazing to be, dropping my son off at school and seeing Wave and Loyal kits around town, or driving past a car that has a Loyal or Wave sticker and being like, who is that? Do I know them? And just to see that progress, it's powerful, especially here in San Diego. And, you have a team that's in the semifinals, has a legit chance at a championship. We've got to rally around and be there, and you don't want to miss history.
Absolutely. November 5th against OL Reign, San Diego Wave. It's going to be the place to be in San Diego. It's going to be the only show in town for a little bit, and then that's going to be the opportunity to really show that they can be number one in soccer wise. And, there's another team coming, and we'll see if they hold up the numbers, but impressive what San Diego has been able to do. And it's honestly been a pleasure to be able to be witness to this. And it's something that I touched in it before the cameras rolled. It's something that we've been able to see of again, those trials and tribulations. Recently you got into it with somebody, we won't get into it, but
troublemaker.
Yeah, right. Again, for asking about the priority, asking about me official. But it's something that there's still a lot to work through, and hopefully we can help out and any sort of amplification of, no, this is something that needs to be taken with seriousness and the heft as any other sport, any other team, any other whatever. And it's really cool to have somebody like you here representing us locally. So Shannon, thank you for that. And I really, really hope to see a lot of people rally around you and help the community out, because that's what it really is all about, Shannon. Thank you again for your time. Anything else, Shiva?
No, I can't follow up that, man. Just thank you,
He's
Shannon.
behaving tonight.
Yeah,
no,
I don't want to get in trouble.
I appreciate you both. I appreciate you guys and your love and passion for soccer locally and helping push that bar. So thank you guys. Appreciate what you do and what you're shedding lights on.
We have to. We have to. Because literally nobody else is. And that's disrespectful. So we'll do our part. So let's keep it going and see you there at Snapdragon, November 5th. Thank you, Shannon.
I'll see you Sunday. I'll see you at the Agramont truck. Bring those toys and blankets.
Toys and blankets.
Perfect.
Fill it